At the beginning of the story, we see a man named Barry who has brought home some bags full of money. Seeing this, Barry became worried about where he would keep so much money. The house was already full. There was no place even to bury it. Wherever he dug, he only found old buried money. Now Barry thought he would hide this money in the horse's stable. But as soon as he opened the door to hide the money, a heap of cash fell on him. Notes were scattered all over the stable. But he had never had this much money before. A few years ago, he was just a pilot at an airline. Barry's girlfriend was very beautiful, and he was quite happy in his life. Barry felt that his entire life would pass like this happily. But then suddenly trouble knocked. One evening when Barry returned to rest at his hotel, a bearded man came to meet him and started blackmailing Barry. He accused Barry of smuggling cigars for money. Hearing this, Barry broke into a sweat because if this came out, it would ruin his reputation. His pilot's license would be revoked. What would he do then in life? Seeing Barry frightened, the man told him that he was a CIA agent and his name was Monty. Then he introduced Barry to his team. They took Barry to a secret place, which was a place to keep aircraft. Barry's eyes lit up when he saw the fastest plane of that time. This plane had two very powerful engines. Barry started admiring the plane. Monty was very pleased to see this and told Barry about his mission. Barry would have to fly this plane over enemy countries of Central America. He had to fly the plane a little low, close to the ground, so that intelligence photographs could be taken. But this was an intelligence mission. Barry could not tell anyone about it, not even his girlfriend Lacey. But Barry did not care about anything at that time. He was just eager to fly his dream plane. Monty opened the doors so Barry could take a test drive of the plane. Going home, he told Lacey that he had to quit his current job because he had gotten a very good job at another company. He didn't mention his mission at all. Lacey found this very strange. Why would a pilot leave a captain's job at an airline to work at some unknown company? That night during a flight, Barry suddenly left the cockpit and walked away to start a new life. After that, Barry became Monty's man. He flew deep into the Central American countries and faced all kinds of dangers so that he could take intelligence photographs. Every trip was very dangerous, but Barry began to enjoy it. When Monty showed the pictures to his seniors, people praised him a lot, but Barry still hadn't told Lacey anything. The two of them got married and now they had a daughter. But Barry's income was not very good now. Barry told Monty that at this rate, they couldn't manage. A man needs to do something. But Monty did nothing about it. Now Monty gave Barry a new mission in Panama. Barry was used to such missions. He completed this job very easily. Before they knew it, 1980 had begun. When Barry stopped to refuel the plane in Colombia, 3 men came searching for him. These thugs were openly carrying guns. They threatened Barry and put him in a car. Barry had no choice, so he quietly went with them to their base. There they met their leader Pablo Escobar. Pablo knew Barry's real identity and that he took intelligence pictures of Central American countries. Hearing this, Barry panicked and started to explain that he only worked for an ordinary company and not for the CIA. Pablo already knew the whole truth, so he started laughing. Pablo told Barry that he didn't want to harm him. He just wanted some smuggling done for him. You will fly and carry a little of my stuff there. After that, Pablo took Barry to his farm and explained how difficult smuggling was. He needed Barry's help for such work. For every completed delivery, he would give Barry $2,000 per kilo. Barry was extremely happy to hear this. This would earn him more money than taking photographs. But when he understood the whole system, Barry realized where the problem was. The runway Pablo had built was very short and many pilots had died while taking off. Barry said, "Make this runway a little longer." Money was short for Pablo, but Pablo said that if he wanted the job, do it, otherwise leave. No need to give suggestions. Hearing this hurt Barry's ego. He decided that he would take off from such a short runway anyway and prove it. He said that this delivery would not be done as Pablo wanted. He would tell how the delivery would happen. He told Pablo about a place where there was an open field. He would fly the plane very low and drop the goods there. Pablo agreed and had all the goods loaded. As Barry was preparing to leave, he noticed that Pablo had one of his men sitting in the pilot's seat. But Barry explained that the plane already had a lot of cargo and could not take more weight. Okay, Pablo had that man taken out and then Barry took off. Pablo gave Barry a cross as a good luck gift. Barry took off unaware that Pablo and his men had bet on whether or not he would be able to get the plane airborne from here. Barry took off with full control, but because of the heavy load, the plane dropped once. Then he managed to get it airborne again and flew it between trees. But as soon as he entered U.S. airspace, he was detected on military radar. Unaware of this, Barry quickly headed toward the point where he had to drop the goods. Barry engaged the autopilot, opened the bottom hatch, and dropped the cargo. With that, Barry's delivery was complete. The next time Barry came to Colombia, Pavlo and his brothers held a welcome party for him and gave him a bag full of the money he had earned. But before Barry could celebrate his happiness, some soldiers arrived and surrounded Pavlo's mansion. Pavlo told Barry to stay inside while he went out to handle the situation. But Barry had never been in such heavy gunfire before, and his fear increased. Barry grabbed the money and went outside to find Pavlo and his men, but the soldiers captured Barry and everyone else. A few days later, Pavlo and his men were released as innocent, and only Barry remained in jail. When Barry was locked up there and felt very worried, Monty suddenly came. Barry's face had many bruises and 2 teeth were broken. Monty told him that he had been accused of drug smuggling and that the police would search his home at 6 o'clock the next morning. Hearing this made Barry very sad. He didn't want to drag his family into this mess. He repeatedly begged Monty for help. Barry couldn't understand how he was getting trapped in Monty's web. Monty said that yes, he could help, but Barry would also have to do something in return. Recently, the government of a nearby country had changed and many people opposed that president. Now the US government wanted to send money and weapons to those opposing the government, but no one should know that we sent them. America's name should not come up anywhere, and the responsibility for this had fallen on Monty. Now Monty had a capable pilot too. Monty could not erase Barry's criminal record, but he advised Barry that he would need to change his home. Meet me in a small town called Mina. Barry had no way out, so he went home, woke Lacey and his daughter, and told them to pack quickly. We will leave here soon. Lacey became suspicious of Barry's actions and repeatedly asked what was happening, but Barry was not in a state to explain anything. He told Lacey to trust him. At dawn, the whole family left with their belongings. The 3 of them reached that small town Mina where only 2,000 people lived. They arrived at a broken-down house where Monty had arranged their stay. Just as Barry had arrived, he saw Monty also arrive and went out to meet him. Monty surprised Barry. There was an airport of about 2,000 acres. Monty gave Barry this as a gift. Now this whole place was Barry's. Barry could not believe his eyes. He looked around, but could not trust that all this was his, because Monty had not increased his money earlier. Monty opened a wooden crate that contained AK-47s, and Barry's job was to deliver these weapons to that country. Monty gave Barry a map to make it easier to get there. It also showed where the military was stationed. With the help of this map, Barry could outsmart everyone. Not only that, Monty also gave Barry a bag of money which the military had recovered from Pavlo's house. Now Barry had no reason to refuse Monty. Barry knew that now it was time to tell Lacey everything. Lacey was very angry because he had brought her from a good city to a village of 2,000 people. There was nothing in the house, not a TV, not a washing machine. How would she raise her daughter? But Barry told her the truth and handed her a bag full of money. He said that this would buy a washing machine. He threw notes around and told her that with this money they could buy anything. Lacey immediately calmed down. Now in 1981, Barry started transporting weapons. Carrying bags full of weapons, Barry reached a country called Nicaragua. Barry expected to be welcomed, but upon arrival he found that these people were not interested in weapons. Instead, they took Barry's glasses and shoes. This made Barry angry. He immediately called Monty and explained the situation, but Monty didn't give a proper answer. He said Barry's job was to deliver the weapons at the right time to the right place. If they didn't want them, then don't try to make them. Helpless, Barry went back to that country to make another delivery. This time he took a baseball bat for his defense, thinking he would beat anyone who tried anything. He quietly took the weapons and left, but this time he also gave those opponents some gifts. He was surprised when Pavlo and his 2 brothers also arrived there, but they were not there to fight. Instead, they revealed that the opposition's act was a ruse they had staged to get help from America. Now Pavlo again asked Barry to smuggle as before so that illicit goods could be delivered to the USA, because Barry now had a great map that Monty had given him. He did not refuse because the map made the chance of being caught very small. For the next few days, Barry worked tirelessly delivering weapons to Nicaragua and then sending illegal goods from there to America. The more he worked, the more money he earned. The job grew and Barry hired for more pilots so they could do more work faster. When Barry started making a lot of money, the CIA took a step. They didn't just want weapons delivered anymore. They wanted the opponents brought to the US and trained so that later they could go back and overthrow their government. Barry asked where they would be given training and where they would be dropped. Monty said, "You have a 2,000-acre airport. Give a little space." Anyway, this didn't make much difference to Barry. But what the CIA wanted did not happen. Those opponents, troubled by poverty and hunger in their country, fled as soon as they arrived on US soil. They didn't want to return. Barry didn't care about any of this. But soon a big problem arose for him. Barry had a lot of money, but he couldn't deposit all of it in banks. People would ask where the money came from, so he deposited very little and spent the rest on a comfortable life. He gave the whole town season tickets to baseball games as presents for the year. He bought a new car for Lacey and renovated the entire house. But he was spending twice as much as he had. To hide his money, Barry started many companies and put the town people on jobs unnecessarily. He hid cash in every corner of his house. He even buried a little money behind the house. Barry was living a great life. But one day, Lacey's worthless brother came to visit and demanded some money. Barry didn't refuse. He wanted to get rid of him quickly. But Lacey said that this man would not break free bread for nothing. She wanted Barry to give her brother a job. Barry couldn't avoid Lacey's request. He took her brother JB to the plane hangar and put him to work cleaning. Now the story reached the place where it had started. Barry was hiding notes in his house. He was removing the notes scattered in the stable when he saw JB arriving with a new car and his girlfriend. Lacey got angry when she found out her brother wasn't working and was roaming around stealing money instead. Barry asked him where the money had come from. He said that he found a bag full of money while cleaning and used that money to buy the car. Barry became very angry but didn't know what to do. The matter did not end there. After that, Barry became very careless. About 2 years later, the police put their eyes on Barry. The DEA, the Drug Enforcement Agency, set a trap to catch Barry. But Barry knew everything about planes. He knew the DEA's planes were fast, but their range was not long. Barry kept circling over the sea all night, and soon the police planes ran out of fuel and had to turn back. But now not only the DEA, but the FBI also had their eyes on Barry. The way Barry's money was coming in had caught their attention. Soon some FBI people reached Mina to investigate. An FBI agent saw banks opening and luxury cars parked on the streets and couldn't understand where the people in that town had so much money. During another mission, Barry came into the view of Border Patrol as well. Considering how Barry had outsmarted the DEA, the Border Patrol also sent 2 more planes like Barry's, and this time they intended to catch him no matter what. Seeing this, Barry angrily descended and landed the plane right on the highway. As soon as Barry got out of the plane, he threw some money at the children on the road, took their bicycle, and disappeared. No sooner had he taken a breath than Pavlo's phone rang. The DEA was also after Pavlo, so now he could not remain in Colombia. He fled to Nicaragua. After that, Barry also left for there. When Barry left, JB had picked up a bag full of money and went out to enjoy in his new car. He had a suitcase full of money and entered a restaurant, but he saw policemen eating there. Scared, JB suddenly ran, but the police chased and caught him. At that time, Barry was meeting Pavlo. When Lacey got this news, Barry hurried back to Mina. He called the town's most expensive lawyer to get JB released, but Pavlo suspected JB might have told the police everything. So Pavlo told Barry that he would help sort this out. Barry realized that if Pavlo took matters into his own hands, there would be bloodshed. Barry tried hard to dissuade him, but Pavlo would not agree. Then Barry ran to meet JB. As soon as JB left the station, Barry put him in the car and gave him a package containing enough money to live on for the rest of his life, along with a passport and plane tickets. Barry wanted JB to leave the country, but JB thought Barry was trying to run him away. Angrily, JB told Barry that he must receive money every month, otherwise he would tell the police everything. Then he started insulting Lacey. This made Barry extremely angry and he ran after JB, but JB started the car in fear and drove away. Barry chased after him shouting, "Stop, I'll tell you." But a little further down the road, there was a tremendous explosion in JB's car, in which JB was killed and money flew everywhere. Barry was stunned for a moment, but deep down he realized that this was Pavlo's doing. Barry started towing JB's car with his car and left it in the jungle. Meanwhile, the CIA discovered that the weapons sent from Nicaragua had fallen into the hands of drug traffickers. Very few of the opponents who had been trained after being brought from Nicaragua completed their training and went back to fight. The CIA realized that it had been a huge mistake to call them and offer training. They told Monty to cancel the entire mission. When Barry saw all his people leaving, he asked Monty if there would be more work. Monty gave no answer, only saying, "Wait for my next signal." Then Barry realized that he was badly trapped and that Monty no longer needed him and would not support him. The next day, when Monty went to the office, he said to burn all the papers related to Barry. He wanted no connection with him. Barry told his entire team to prepare to flee. As Barry and his group were preparing to escape, DEA, ATF, FBI, and police all arrived. They arrested him and took him to the prosecutor's office to get him the maximum punishment possible. Barry tried to bribe them all. "I will make your lives. 1 crore, 100 crore, come on, no? 10 crore I'll give." But but then a phone rang for the lawyer. Barry realized something had changed. The prosecutor became angry, but after that phone, she ordered Barry's handcuffs removed, and that one phone had freed him. As soon as he got out, two men in suits put him in a car and took him away. Barry thought they were Monty's men, but he was taken directly to the airport and from there straight to the White House. Barry was to meet the president, and he was very nervous, not understanding why he had been brought there. The CIA director and an army colonel had decided that Barry would make one last deal with Pavlo so that they could use the opportunity to collect intelligence photos of Pavlo. These would be irrefutable evidence. Barry agreed to do this job, but he was terrified. If Pablo Escobar even suspected Barry was trying to trap him, Pavlo would tear him apart. Barry said goodbye to his family and, with his assistants, started on the journey. They passed through a storm and reached Nicaragua. As soon as the plane door opened, soldiers with guns were stationed. Barry panicked and tried to explain that it was only a gift. Pavlo arrived then and told his soldiers to kill him. Barry was extremely frightened, but Pavlo laughed and told his soldiers to stand down. Pavlo had a unique way of mocking people. Barry calmed down a bit and gave Pavlo and his associates all the weapons. Barry's colleagues secretly switched on an intelligence camera which clearly recorded Pavlo and his men's faces. Now the police had solid evidence against them. The director happily held a party for everyone. Barry had completed a dangerous mission, but then one day the government broke its promise and put a clear photo of Barry's face on television. Pavlo didn't need TV to know. Now he also found out that Barry had betrayed him. He soon sent some of his thugs to take revenge. But the story didn't end there. The government completely turned, and they accused Barry of smuggling. The FBI seized all his money and property. The night before everything was confiscated, Barry somehow told his wife Lacey to leave wearing all the jewelry because the things they wore could not be seized. Lacey didn't want to leave her husband, but she knew there was no choice. She had to do it for their children. The next day, the FBI thoroughly searched Barry's house. Barry understood that now he had nothing left, neither his family nor money. Gradually, the case cooled down and Barry's sentence was reduced considerably. He knew Pavlo would not easily spare him. He lived for a few years in fear, changing hotel rooms every night. But one day, a thug shot him in the car. So in your opinion, did the right thing happen to Barry or not? Tell me in the comments.